Well, Mumbai, let's talk about the city of dreams. It sees 400 new faces every day, and they come from all corners of the country, each of them arriving to chase dreams in this rather bustling metropolis. It's often referred to as the Maya Nagari. It's renowned for its non-stop energy. We talk about that. Mumbai is the place where everything and everyone in constant motion, whether it's day, it's night, it doesn't matter. And that's what makes the city truly unique, Sumita.
Yes, indeed, Vikram. It is also said that in Mumbai you can find everything you need to turn your dreams into reality, from the likes of Dhirubhai Ambani to the Shehenshah of Bollywood himself, Amitabh Bachchan, from Uday Kotak to the Badshah of Bollywood, Shah Rukh Khan. Numerous success stories exemplify the power of determination, hard work, innovation, and all starting from very, very humble beginnings and origins in this very city, Vikram.
Yes, it's got so much history associated with it. In Mumbai, of course, there are countless individuals. All of them have moved from one place to another. That journey is remarkable. Whether they move from footpaths to these luxurious homes, ground floor to penthouses, really. They've moved up from being ordinary to rather extraordinary. And they moved up from anonymity to fame as well. But regardless of anyone's background, Mumbai has been the stage, a stage for countless dreams coming true. And that's the real defining quality of the city as well.
Absolutely, Vikram. In fact, behind the glitz and glamour, Mumbai also harbors a darker side that we have to speak about, with many stories hidden away. And yet, despite these shadows, the city remains magnificent, incomparable, and a beacon of hope for many. It's been the source of joy and fulfillment for countless souls, Vikram.
From that gentle breeze that many people enjoy on Marine Drive, and then there is the mesmerizing sight of ships passing by the gateway of India, from the bustling streets of Kulaba Causeway to the serene aura of Haji Ali Dargah, the resilient spirit of Dharavi, to these countless slums, of course, that dot the city. All of them have a place, each place adding this unique chapter to Mumbai's very rich tapestry. From that ancient heritage that we have to all the modern charm that is coming in, I would say, having lived in Mumbai all my life, the allure of this city is quite unparalleled.
Absolutely. Absolutely, Vikram. In fact, we'll go over to the guests who are joining us tonight. But first, let's go across to our colleague Aishwarya. In fact, she's spoken to several people and to find out what their poll issues really are and what do they really make of Mumbai. What does Mumbai really stand for them?
Everything about Mumbai is so special.
I think that Bombay can hold space for a lot of diversity, and that is like no other city in the country.
In the ever-changing Mumbai, which changes day by day, the sea remains constant here. So.
Originally home to the fisher folk or the Koli community, the city of dreams and its ambitions have evolved over decades. By the turn of the 19th century, it was thriving as India's largest cotton market. It also was home to India's largest textile mills, over 80 of them, and over 2 lakh mill workers. But by the turn of the 20th century, Mumbai transformed from an industrial capital to a commercial, money-minting entertainment capital of the country. As Mumbai goes into the last phase of elections on the 20th of May, let's find out what Mumbaikars want and have on their to-do list for the next decade.
City is very dirty, especially footpaths. All the hawkers should go away. They should be provided some place, but not on the footpath.
हम लोग को भी वही है, ट्रेन का ट्रैवलिंग करके हम लोग आते हैं, बट बहुत गर्दी रहते हैं, बहुत लटक के आते हैं. बहुत फैसिलिटीज और फैसिलिटीज होना चाहिए ट्रेन का ट्रैवलिंग का.
Mumbai is perfect, I guess.
Well, some think of it as perfect, and yet there are issues to contend with in daily life. The members who are going to represent us in Parliament, there's a lot of ask from them because we are aspiring for more all the time in Mumbai. Let's get perspective on this. Bharat Gothoskar is founder and heritage evangelist-in-chief at Khaki Tours. And joining him is Mr. Niranjan Hiranandani, the founder and chairman of the Hiranandani group, a Mumbaikar himself. Gentlemen, thank you for joining us on India Tonight, and it's a pleasure to have you discussing a city that we love so much. As we aspire for more, Mr. Hiranandani, you having lived in the city for as many years as you have, the aspirations of the city have changed from that mill culture that was being spoken about, from the walks down Marine Drive enjoying our vada pav. Our aspirations have grown, and now as we march towards a more developed kind of economy, the fear is that Mumbai might lose its character. How do you look at Mumbai today and what you expect it to be in the future, say 5 to 10 years from now?
Very much, Vikram. It's delightful to talk about Mumbai, the city of my birth, my education, my growing up, and all my life of 74 years I've spent over here. So it's a delight to speak about Mumbai. I personally look forward to the next 5 years in a much better way than it was in the last 10 to 25 years. So I'm very positive about Mumbai. It's a cosmopolitan city, a professional city, a city which has, of course, had its own problems, big ones, very big ones. Like, for instance, we have 50% of my population living in slums. So, but each one gets a job and everybody gets food to eat at the end of the day. That is it. But the railways are clogged and we have problems in respect of water and various other things. But remember, in the next few years, we are going to add 300 kilometers of metro to the 190 kilometers of suburban rail that exists today. We are going to have the Atal Setu, which will add enough land across the harbor, equivalent to half the land of Mumbai within 1 hour away, empty. So we have a canvas where we can do a huge amount of difference. A new airport that is coming up, a coastal road which covers the other side of the periphery of Mumbai, and the GDP of Mumbai as compared to 7% growth of India, we are growing at 12 to 15% GDP growth. So though we have lost all the mills and other things, the development of the city, the growth of the city, and the MMR, which now we have the Nita Ambani Cultural Center, which has made the change. All the other aspects of it in environment, you're going to see a coastal road where we are going to have a bicycling and running track, which will run right from Priyadarshini Park right up to Worli. So all this is a great future that we're looking forward to, which probably will be better than what it was earlier. But of course, we all miss the old Mumbai in some respects because we are sentimental about it. But I think the future is fantastic.
Mr. Hiranandani, and very well put. And of course, we'll go over to Mr. Bharat in just a short while from now. But let me ask you brought out a very important point, that of, several construction projects, several infrastructure projects being, constructed right now. But, the sea link got constructed only in 2000. And in fact, the coastal road is still underdeveloped. So while there is a lot to look forward to, I want to ask you, what took the government really so much time to actually plan these infrastructure projects for the city? I mean, the city has been seeing immigration from quite many decades for now.
So what is important to see here is that city is unique, right? It's a very cosmopolitan city in a Maharashtrian state, Marathi-speaking state. And what essentially has happened is traditionally, the chief ministers have been from outside the city. That is why the city never got focused. Whenever there has been a chief minister who's from the city, the focus has been better on the infrastructure in this city. And sadly, the city, the year I was born in, right, 74, today there's 4 times the population of Mumbai. I think the infrastructure of Mumbai is matching up now. It is the beyond Mumbai part of MMR which needs to be looked at, because that is where the population explosion is coming. And you would be surprised to know that I was interacting with somebody who stays in a place called Badlapur, which is quite far from Mumbai. And from Kalyan to Badlapur, even at 11 o'clock in the night, you cannot get into the train. That is the kind of infrastructure bottlenecks which have been created on the periphery of the city, right? Sobo or South Mumbai, as everybody calls it, is more blessed in terms of infrastructure, but here too, more planned development, especially of the port areas, right? The port trust area could have been better developed. It should have been opened, similar to what is Canary Wharf in London. bigger challenge, because my organization works on heritage very extensively, is that conservation of heritage has become a challenge, right? We are not in a position to conserve the kind of streetscape which is there in the city. More and more FSI is given in areas which have very limited infrastructure in South Mumbai, and old heritage structures are being torn down left, right, and center.
Right.
But with coming of the metro, it is going to be far, far better for most of the city to connect with each other.
So the commute is getting better, infrastructure is getting better. It has taken its time
Indeed.
for that to happen in the city. And we are very grateful that it's happening now. Perhaps the pace is going to pick up that much more. But even in the past, Mr. Hiranandani, yes, there was this concentration in South Mumbai and the infrastructure being better over there, where BST buses could take you into narrow lanes in Bhuleshwar and other areas as well, where you can't even dream of taking smaller vehicles. That used to happen in the past, and how good our local train network has been, even before we could compare it to Delhi's metro system. I'm just saying that we did get there. At this point in time, when we are looking at prices in Mumbai, what is the cost of living in this city today? Because the idea was for flocks of people to come into the city with the promise of opportunity. Now, when they do come here, they do have to contend with high, very, very high real estate prices, and the conditions of living sometimes can be appalling for the middle class. How are we trying to bridge that gap, as it were, between the cost of living and what you earn by wages in the city today?
Vikram, they are not helping us. The government is not helping us. It's unfortunate. For example, if you look at the development charges, the additional FSI cost and other things, and stamp duty, GST and other things, today, if you go for development in any part of the city and use the additional FSI and growth, you can't sell an apartment for less than 25,000 rupees a foot. Even if you are in the remotest of area, if you're using the new FSI norms that exist. If you're looking at that kind of thing, obviously you're challenged, because the middle class, the affordable people can't get a house which is possible. Hence, three aspects of it need to be taken up. So while I spoke earlier about the positives, let me put across the other challenges which are there. One, 20 years ago, Balasaheb brought up the slum scheme to redevelop the slum. We have only redeveloped 5% of the total slums. And even if whole of Dharavi is developed, it will be only 10 to 12% of the slums of Mumbai. So we have to really relook at the policies which we need to do, and we need to get it off the ground immediately. The second, for the redevelopment and the areas where the government is charging a phenomenal charge for the purposes of redevelopment, and the costs are humongous, we are going to put it across to the government very soon through Naredco, through Pieta and others in a really structured manner, to show that you are making it unaffordable when it can be made affordable. So I think that's the second thing. The third part of it is the dreams of the city are so beautiful that even people living in the slums. The other day I was given a picture frame of a picture drawn by somebody who is living in the slums. And the beauty of that painting and others is so fantastic. You cannot believe the kind of talent, the kind of people who live in this type of dire circumstances, the kind of work they're doing, the kind of employment they are doing, and also the secondary level where the development, commercial, industrial, and other activities also takes place in terms of the slums. So all in all, if you really look at it, there's a huge possibility of improvement of what the city is. We are good, but we want to become great. That is the situation that we really need to do immediately for the city of Mumbai. And I'm hoping that the government will really take it up after this election. And we've been talking to most of them, but we are hopeful that things will still better. Mumbai has a great future. Look at the infrastructure coming up. So in spite of the negative, I'm positive that the next 5 years is going to be fantastic for Mumbaikars.
Yes, Mr. Hiranandani, of course, we appreciate that positive sentiment, and we also do hope, and it is being seen on the ground, the kind of infrastructure projects that the government has started. But let me come back to your point. You said that there's been 5% redevelopment of slums. So I want to understand from you, what really is the real reason? Why are policies not really getting off the ground? Isn't that what the electorate or the voters are really asking? Or are these issues getting drowned somewhere amidst this polarizing politics that's been playing out?
Well, it's very sad for me because I was the signatory on the Observer Committee which drafted the slum policy 20 years ago. So it is very, very, very sad that what is really happening just now is something that we have not been effective. But it's not that it cannot be done. Yes, we have not done it in the past. There is a possibility of getting it done. When we were talking about metro, everybody said, how can you do 300 kilometers of metro? But it's getting done. Everybody said Atal, which was pending since 1977, will not get done. But it got done in 5 years. The new airport, everybody said it can't be done. There is this problem, that problem, excess, there's a hill there, and all sorts of reasons. But we did it. The bullet train is not going to come. It's going to come. So the point is, the slums can be eliminated in a period of 5 to 10 years. The whole of Mumbai can be redeveloped. And the government of the day will make 50,000 crores of rupees of profit after redevelopment and selling the balanced land which is available, after building schools, hospitals, and everything else for the city in a big way. So the future problem on various things which are not done are doable. Yes, they have not been done. But it's like that, everything could not have been done at one time. Yes, we have failed as far as slums is concerned. That doesn't mean that we cannot do it in the future. So we never say die. Mumbai will never do that. So we have a great future. We have a plan how it should be done. And I'm sure the government of the day will do it.
The plan is the most important part of it. And sometimes you wonder the way we are developing and redeveloping the city in a path towards greatness, like you're pointing out, Mr. Hiranandani. I want to turn this to Mr. Gothoskar. How you see it? Are we benchmarking it? For the longest time, we were trying to say that Mumbai needs to become Shanghai. Are we benchmarking it against some other developed city in the world? Or do we need our own definition? And I ask you this because it pains me to think about the people who have perished, have been injured because of that one dust storm that hit the city, and a hoarding comes falling down, and we are contending with these issues year after year. We see our city drown, and really, when it comes to the monsoons, we haven't come very far in being able to tackle it every year. Mr. Gothoskar, where do you think we are failing?
I think we need to have an integrated approach at everything, right? Many a times I have realized that whenever I'm interacting with various agencies, they need to be aligned. And if political will is there, they can get aligned into one. Many a times, half the roads are with one agency, the other agency has, we can see in terms of building bridges, railways is building some part, somebody else is building some part, and it doesn't get aligned. So what actually needs is overall coordination between departments and better planning. You mentioned whether there is a template to work on. When the city started, they were trying to make a mini London in the tropics, right? The plan went right till some extent, and afterwards we have given up planning. So there are parts like Khar, Santa Cruz, Sion, Shivaji Park, Hindu colony, Parsi colony, which were planned at one point of time. Somehow we lost the whole zeal of planning the city better. Navi Mumbai is a great example how it has been very, very planned and coordinated. But I think the current direction that the city has taken, as Mr. Hiranandani has said, is in the right direction. We just need to ensure that everybody talks to each other. The biggest challenge in my view is we have not tapped the tourism potential of this city, right? We get a fraction of what this city can actually get. Look at Istanbul or look at even Singapore or Dubai. These are cities which get far, far more tourists when Mumbai has so much to show to the world. That is an area that we need to focus on in the coming days.
Another question to ask of you here. I mean, you've really adopted a very constructive approach when it comes to issues, and so has Mr. Hiranandani as well. But, when we speak of planning, is there a problem as far as thinking of the future is concerned? Are we not thinking 15 years ahead of time when it comes to policy making? And if not, is that feasible considering a city like Mumbai and the kind of, people that come almost every day, considering the crowds and the population that the city has?
Right. So I feel I just always give an example of the 26 July floods which happened in 2005, and South Mumbai did not face the brunt as much as the rest of the city, and that is because of better planning which was done by engineer almost 150 years ago, right? So the planning of the city has been done in fits and starts. Not all the plans, there's actually a book on all the plans which were never implemented in the city. And as Mr. Hiranandani said, Atal Setu was planned in 77, and it has taken such a long time but current infrastructure pace is very good, is all I can say.
Well, but at this point in time, and we have been covering it in great detail as well, the difficulty to breathe in the city. We are looking at development, all those redevelopment projects also underway all at the same time. We're talking about suspended matter in the air that we breathe in, which is making it more and more difficult for us. These are basic issues. The right to breathe good fresh air. Mr. Hiranandani, how can we be denied of that? If I have to go to Marine Drive for that peace and calm, the air that I breathe is not going to be pure at all. In fact, far from it. Why shouldn't we be demanding it of the people who represent us in Parliament?
Vikram, you are absolutely correct. While I have spoken positively, there are plenty of issues that we can address, including the environment, which needs to be focused on. For example, let's talk about water. The water which goes into the sea is only half treated. Corporation is only now going to treat 100% that water and even use and recycle that water. In Powai and Thane, we do 4 million liters of recycling since last 25 years. Now the question is, why did the city not do it earlier? When the whole city could have done it and we would need less fresh water. So today, for the race course, for Azad Maidan, for the Maidans, for the gardens, for everything, we use fresh water. In fact, the recycled water would have been much better. So lots of things have not been done, but we need to get it done. And what is said by Mr. Bharat is also correct, because so many things need to be coordinated by various departments. And the leadership of the city needs to think about it. The last couple of years, we have seen leadership come into the city and this infrastructure is developed. But obviously, they have not addressed all the problems that we are talking about or will talk about, including environment, which is so important. A couple of years ago, we always used to worry that Delhi does have bad environment.
Yes,
last year,
absolutely.
we have seen that in our city. So we have to address it. There is no question about not addressing it. The question is, how do we do it? As Mr. Bharat said, coordination of all the departments together, create a master plan which says what is happening to next few years. The new city across the harbour, there's no plan for it. Can you imagine? We have already got the approach road, which will take us within 1 hour. We have so much development which is taking place, but the infrastructure there is not planned. Like we have done South Mumbai planning, we are not doing enough planning for the new areas which are going to come up. Maybe we'll do it only after development is complete. That is wrong. So what is required is fill up the gaps of what we have not done or not done up till today. Also, the new areas that you have done, focus should be there to plan for the next 50 years across the harbour. Both need to be done.
Right. And let me come to you, Mr. Bharat. I mean, we've spoken about a range of issues from infrastructure to, of course, the air quality problem. But if I had to ask you today, what are the 3 things or the 5 things that are on your agenda list as far as, the elections are concerned? And what are you asking of policy makers this election?
So I think the biggest issue currently, the way I see it, is access to good health. Okay, whether it is in terms of good places for people to go out. Education is a big thing, especially for the lower middle class. Getting access to good education, that is something that you need to focus on. Infrastructure in the outlying areas is something that the government needs to clearly focus on. And of course, as Mr. Hiranandani said, I think housing, especially, the entire land bank which is around Mahul or even Trans Harbour should be looked at. You spread out the city further and get good infrastructure to get people to commute at very less amount of time. The commuting time should be very low. And if we are able to achieve that, the glory of Mumbai will come back. Currently, Delhi and Bangalore are vying for the crown from us. But if we do it right, then I think so we'll continue to retain the title of the dream city that this India always looks up.
Do you agree? Do you agree, Mr. Hiranandani, that Delhi and Bengaluru are vying for the crown and are all set to take it away from Mumbai, and our heritage status as a financial capital of the country is getting diminished for the lack of planning, perhaps? So when you go out to vote as a true blue Mumbaikar, Mr. Hiranandani, what are the issues that are topmost of your mind that you think other voters should also bear in their mind when they decide how they're voting? What are the issues that they should consider?
I think Bharat has talked about some of them, but let me repeat one at least. Infrastructure, infrastructure, infrastructure. If the government focuses on fantastic infrastructure, we are adding and extending it not only to the city and suburbs, but new cities across the harbour, across the periphery of the Mumbai metropolitan region. That is number one. Number two, looking at sufficiently in terms of environment in every aspect of work, whether it is construction, whether it is any other aspects of it, making more gardens, working more other availability of areas which are green and open, afforestation that we really need to do it. All the rest of the things the city will make. We will make the buildings for the purposes of development. We will do the schools, college and hospitals to be done. But for the non-affordable, a large amount of other infrastructure, whether it is education, whether it is health and other things, which the corporation is already doing. But what it needs, because the population has increased, we need to do much more about it. So all this and more we can do. And second, there is no shortage of money. For the first time in the history of this country, we are spending 3 lakh crores of rupees on all the infrastructure which is coming up, metro, cross harbour bridge, bullet train and other things.
Yes.
There is no shortage. Today, if I want another 3 lakh crores of rupees, it's easily available. JICA is willing to give at 0.1% interest for the next 50 years for infrastructure, double the infrastructure that you really need to do, and the city will pay it back. We can do development and that can be done. So today, earlier, the problem was no money, paisa nahi hai. Today, that issue is gone. Enough money is available for the purposes of development of the city. And second, our municipal corporation has only 60,000 crores of rupees in the bank today. So the city is rich. The city is a possibility to pay back.
You're saying we have the resources. Mr. Hiranandani, you're saying we have the resources. Do we have the political will? Do we have the political will today? Are the members of parliament who represent us doing the job that they need to be able to ensure that we have good plans that are executable and do get executed in time, within the tenure that the Member of Parliament is representing us in?
So, Vikram, we will do all the talk, but you have to propagate all our points across to the through the parliamentarians, through the media, through the press and others. And I promise you, we have no dearth of the ideas that have been done. What Bharat has talked to you in Naretco, in IMC, in all our institutions are ready to suggest all these things. And we are ready to do it free of cost. We'll even prepare a master plan which will be given to government. So that is not a difficult matter. And today money is available. I'll repeat, Vikram, 10 times. I know you're a business channel, and that's why it's extremely important for you to propagate that there is no dearth of money, which was a big problem yesterday. Corporation is rich, MMRD has enough money, and enough institutions worldwide are willing to put in money into Mumbai because we always pay it back. We are never defaulted in paying our money. That's why you're paying.
Yes, yes, but Bharat, do weigh in on this, because we would have loved to see more items of the development plan for Mumbai in the kind of agenda setting that our politicians who are vying for our votes would have to put in, on the basis of which we will decide how our vote should go. Won't you agree, Bharat?
Totally. The problem is the current discourse is more about issues which are not related to the city and more emotional issues. I think so. I would have been happier to see more parliamentarians, those who are hopeful to be parliamentarians, talking about what are the key aspects that they are going to work in the next 5 years, which doesn't come out across as the way it needs to be. But parliamentarians have a different role. I think so. It is each level of government should be doing their role. So the corporators, the MLAs, and the parliamentarians all should be also coordinating with each other to get the maximum bang for the buck for the city, is what I feel.
All right. On that note, thank you very much, gentlemen, for joining us this evening and discussing the core issues this election season. And we do hope that policy makers pay heed to some of these very basic and very key issues that a Mumbaikar faces on an everyday basis. And of course, we're running absolutely out of time. But employment, Vikram, is also one of the key issues, and meaningful employment and unemployment, the raging unemployment, is also one of the key issues that the government needs to address. On that note, thank you very much, gentlemen. But before I let you go, I really would request you to make an appeal to voters to come out and vote. Barely 3 days to go before Mumbai votes.
Very crucial, very important to do this. If any of these issues are to be discussed, if we have to find solutions, we have to do our job by going out and voting. That's an important piece. Mr. Hiranandani, Bharat, I'm sure both of you will agree about this, the importance of going out and voting, right?
If you don't vote, you have no right to grumble.
Absolutely. Totally second that. Thank you, gentlemen. Thank you for joining us. We'll take a small breather.
If you like this video, then like, share and subscribe to ET Now.